You
This
all can see my
conference
screen.
will now be recorded.
You all can see my screen, right?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So I've just prepared the documentation to walk you through the contents that I will be covering in the training session. So I have listed on all the topics along with the key components for each module, sub-modules associated with the GTS. So I will try to explain.
This
I
conference
have
will
a
now be recorded.
So let me introduce it again. My name is Monit, and I am having a working experience in the field of SAP SD for more than 9 years now, and having experience of GTS for more than 7 years. So I have been with various companies and MNC where I have worked in the implementation as well as support project. So I have implemented two projects for US client, especially for GTS, and currently working with a US company as well right now. So, so as a support and rollout project on GTS. Okay, so coming on, so now I can start, right? So here, this is a slide which I have prepared to brief you about what GTS and what are the contents that I will be covering in my training sessions. So
Monit, I think, sorry to interrupt. I think your screen is not full. Can you go to the presentation of full screen mode, please? Yes, that's okay. You can proceed. No problem.
okay, so so we all know about the GTS. So GTS is basically associated with the SD module as well. So we have ECC box for uh, accessing the each component of the SAP. Like we have supply chain components, SD, and FI modules. But GTS is a standalone box which is out of the ECC, and it is for supporting supporting the export import scenario, or we can say the compliance perspective. It is a software, like I said here, it is a software that allows the company to support and define import export trade processes in ERP. So it is well integrated with the ERP system. So ERP system, it takes the data and then it helps any organization or any company to uh, run or collect or manage the data in terms of the compliance, the customs, and the risk. So whatever the risk associated with the normal trade processes, that is being mainly handled by or controlled by the GTS. So that is the use of the GTS system. It is an enterprise trade management platform. We can see that centralizing or automating the various sub modules, like we have every module. For if we come across SD module, it is restricted to the sales and distribution. So every company is selling the goods, distributing it across the borders. So when we talk about exporting something out of the across the borders, then it has to deal with certain regulations that the country has already, or every organization has to comply with the regulation that has been imposed by each and every country. So that is basically helping the GTS, the business, by using the SAP GTS software. And in the coming years, when S4 is coming live, so this GTS module, or the GTS box, we can say, is going to be uh, same part of the ECC as well, ECC component. So you will find it not separately, no interface is required, and that is one advantage with the S4 HANA, coming in the S4 HANA. Okay, so I will be covering when I start the training sessions. So I will be covering about the GTS advantages over the ECC right now, for the foreign trade. So how GTS is having the advantage of foreign trades. So all these topics I will be covering in detail. when I start my training sessions. So these are the components, or these are the, just a second. These are the agenda of my training, which I am going to cover in all the sessions going forward. So first we will be starting with introduction to global trade services. Then we will be covering and touching the baseline settings that is required in the SAP GTS. Then we will be covering the master data that is required to be set up. And for number fourth is the compliance management, which is a very important module in terms of GTS. When it comes to GTS, that is very important thing that GTS is offering right now. Fifth one is the custom management. So this is again same, very important for GTS perspective. It is like I said, GTS is mainly for exporting and importing the things, so it has to deal with the custom authorities for custom duties, tariff duties, and all that. So it is covering that uh, topics as well. And risk management. So risk management is, like I said, every business is having a risk, and how to mitigate that risk. That is a very important factor, along with some important topics here is like letter of credit and preference determinations and management. So I am just elaborating all this agenda which I have listed down here one by one, so that you can get an idea about what each of these will cover. So starting with the introduction to global trade service. So here I have put down the things that I will be covering. So we will be starting first with the overview of the GTS. So I just have explained a bit of the GTS thing, why it is being used, but I will be covering it in detail. What are the advantages and the benefits of the GTS over the foreign trade in ERP? So why we are not handling these export imported scenarios? Why there is challenge with the ERP, and what are the benefits that GTS is offering? So that will be that is definitely a very important point that we had to know before going through the GTS. All those components, so that I will be covering. Then connection is a very important thing that it will cover in this session. So connecting the ERP to the GTS. So like I said, GTS is a standalone box, where it means that it is a separate box we can trade. So it has to depend on the feeder system. So every ERP, every any other components, whether it is a SAP or it is not a non-SAP, it can be a third-party tool. So whatever the other ERP components or non-ERP components that is feeding the data to GTS, or that is called a feeder system. So that connection is very important, how we are going to plug in, and the RFC connections for, if I will be covering it for non-SAP as well, a small background if you want, but mainly my focus will be with SAP ERP. So I will be covering ECC integration with GTS here. So navigating GTS is like, as a part of the introduction, I will be going with the navigations, what are the options that are available, and which I will also include in the benefits of the GTS. So compliance, customs, and the risk management. So coming on to the next one. So this is for the baseline setting, which I mentioned. So setting the GTS is an important thing, and we have to start with, like in every model we have a organization structure. Similarly, we have organization structure in GTS. So for sales and distribution, for material management, for finance, and for FI module, we all know that is they all have to go through the setup of the organization structures. So in a similar way, we have to do this in GTS as well. And these are the key topics that I will be covering in this agenda. Baseline settings. So here I will be defining, and so I will be defining, I will provide a basic use of the business functionality of each of these components first, because many of people are just remembering this is a foreign trade organization, but what exactly that means, that is an important thing from business perspective. So once we understand the business, how the business is running, what is the use of these entities, then we will able to explore it much, or we can say we can able to think on this much proactively, and to the understand the configurations as well. So there is no need of remembering the configurations. When you started analyzing the things from the business perspective, the configurations becomes easy. So that is my main focus. uh, Data exchange, like I said, how the data. So in terms of data, when you talk about data, it uses a transactional data and master data. So both the transaction and master data I will be covering. So here is again one important concept of the change pointer. That is, I think this is not generally covered by any of the trainers for GTS, but I am also including the change pointer concept. Many people don't know about the change pointer, so I will be covering that because this is a very important thing in GTS, where the data is every time you don't have to manually add on the data to GTS server. You have to you have to think of the options we can do, or we can automate the things. So the change pointer is just an automatic thing for transferring the data from one system to another system. So if anyone is not having any idea of change pointer, that is not a problem. We will be covering that as well, and then how we are activating all those settings, RFC, LAA, and distribution model settings, connections with the logical system and GTS system, feeder system and GTS system, that I will be covering in the data exchange part. Now coming on general settings, here I will be covering all the prerequisites that we need before we go on or move on to the subcomponents of the GTS, like compliance management or custom managements. We, there has to be a legal regulation that has to be defined. So what exactly is the legal regulation from business perspective? I will tell you that about document types, what are the documents type controls and the mappings which are done from ECC to GTS, which are the documents that has to be interfaced to the GTS. Like we so we can think that all the sales orders are not getting interfaced to GTS. Some of the sales orders are getting interfaced. Basically, the sales order which are getting which are raised across the borders, so where the goods are being transferred across the borders, that only needs the compliance or the custom checks. So there, that mapping is required or the control is required. So that I will be covering in the document types and the mapping settings, along with the number range. So number range, again a very important concept. I will be covering the number range. Their number range is for each and every entity, so I will not go into much detail of the number range, but I will be setting up or doing the demos, doing a session of number range setting for the business partner. That is one important thing, and some of the entities that are important for the custom perspective. Okay, so once you understand the number range principle, if you have worked on sales order in sales and distribution model, so you might be pretty much familiar with the number range, how these number ranges are working, like SNRO and all these settings. So these are the same settings that is being used, but a different object. So in SD, we have a different objects for sales document, sales order, like RV underscore Belek is an example. So similarly here, we have a different object itself for the business part. So what are the key business we have to remember, we have to uh, use during or remember during the setting of the number range. So that is one important thing. So that I will be covering in this. So I will be defining the partner roles as well. So covering the partners in same business partner, when we cover that will be covered again. Okay, so coming on to the next one. So this is regarding the master data. So like I said, there are two types of master data that we have to concern with. First is the uh, so here we have we are how, like I mentioned, the change pointer thing. So we will be covering the change pointer through how the data is to be transferred. So initial transfer, like we have customer master, we have vendor master, and we have material master as well. So we have custom offices, so which are important thing. We have a bank, we have a master data, we can say a broker or data provider who is providing data to the official data to the GTS system. So those all are considered as the master data, and all those so all master data is not synced with ECC. Some of them, like customer, vendor, material, needs to be interfaced from ECC to GTS. few of the like custom offices, so that is not present in the feeder system. Data provider, that is not present in the feeder system, so that we have to configure in the GTS itself. So both I will be covering from the GTS and the ECC perspective, and along with the transactional data as well. Transactional data, when you talk about transactional data, it is when we put in any sales transactions like sales order, purchase order, delivery, billing. So how those data are getting interfaced through the RFC calls. So that I will be covering as well. So when I say master data, it means both. So here one more topic that I mentioned here is product master data. That is important one, and along with that, product classification as well. So we have various codes that is being used in the GTS system. So that is globally, or you can say a universal code that has been defined by the world to to be used by or followed by each and every countries. So that is classification where we have ICCN import control classification number and export control classification number. So these two are comes under the compliance perspective or compliance model, you can say, and then tariff, which is nothing but my HTS harmonized tariff code, and commodity codes. That two are again the coming into the custom management area. So I will be covering that, how to upload these codes manually, how to do that, uh, or how it is being done when these codes are being sent by any data provider. So basically, this is done with the help of a data provider only. But sometimes we might need to manually upload or manually change this code. So how we can tackle that? That I will be covering. Along with that, product classification. So every product has to be classified at a global level, so that why it is relevant, I will be covering that in that session. For custom duty, or the rules and regulations, or the rules of origin, how to, so these all are pretty much dependent on the product classification, how to classify the products or reclassify the products. That is, I will be covering in this sessions. Okay. So coming on to the compliance management, if you have any doubt in this till now, you can just ask me for.
Basically, having four questions here. So, see, you have spoken about ICCN number and then the ECCN number, okay? But there is something called as the HTS number which is also present, right? Something called as the harmonized tariff
Yeah,
schedule,
harmonized
something
tariff
like that,
code,
right?
harmonized tariff schedule. Yeah. So that is the
Yeah.
same thing. The tariff number which I have mentioned in my screen right now, tariff and the commodity code. So tariff is the same thing.
Okay.
Uh, Harmonized tariff schedule.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
Okay.
there are
So,
many other codes. OGA codes is also there. So that is all we call a tariff together. How I will be dealing with that as well in the tariff
which I
itself.
had, and something. A second point is that see, yeah, maybe I'm asking this question. Maybe this is too early, but just wanted from my perspective. Okay, so when a sales order is being created, so now what you're saying is that API call is being made, API call, or else say, for example, if you are connecting through the RFC, a BIDA could be sent to a GTS server, and basically it searches whether this particular the part number or else a product is valid for this particular customer in the country. That's what you're saying, right? And for to make this particular thing, there should be some place where what are the list of the materials, allowed combination of what are the list of materials which are to be which are to be shipped out for the export, and all those details we are maintaining here in the tariff and commodity codes, is it, or else it is something different?
Uh, so like I said, master data, so sales order is getting interfaced with the RFC. So how the transactional data are getting interfaced, how the call is happening, that I will be covering in this. So once the sales order is created. So there is a different custom number against that sales order that is stated in the GTS. And for those compliance check, it will check the business partner data and the materials data. Here it is a product master, which is a STS code. So harmonized tariff code is a 10-digit code, 8 to 10 digit code. So which is a universal code that has been given by that has been acclaimed globally by all the countries. So like if you are referring any product, uh, you might be referring any product in a different manner in India, and you might be using the same product with a different name in other countries. But there should be a universal name that uh, when we are charging, when we are doing the export or imports thing, so whatever the custom duty or whatever the tariff duty the government is imposing, so it is based on that code. So it is categorizing. One more thing is that product classification is categorizing your products. So like your product is for, like in US they are selling poultry or meats, so that has to be categorized in a different manner than the products that is pharmaceuticals, right? So they there has to be different classification from the poultry. So which type of poultry? It is a farm poultry. So how the product is classified at the lowest level, that is being covered in the STS code.
Okay.
So each one, so there are a list of official, these are the official codes which the governments provides. So the data provider sends to us in the SAP system, and then SAP system does the upload. So all these codes will be uploaded. Then all these codes has to be assigned in the material master. So when we say material master, it is in the GTS. So in the GTS, each product has to be classified with that 10-digit number, so that it can classify the products, what type of exactly the characteristic of the product is.
Okay. So
I will be
uh,
covering that in detail. Then we will come to know how the things is happening. That will clear you the background and the business process as well. So I will be covering the business process along with the system process. First, I will be covering the business process, like why we are using this STS code, what is the purpose of STS code, how can we do it manually, and how can we do it automatically with the help of data provider. So both I will be covering, and then we will take you through the system, how it is being done. That will make you a clear picture on this one.
okay, good. Yeah, got it.
Okay. Mhm. Okay, so next is the compliance management. So that is, like I said, it is a very important model for which GTS is offering. No other SAP model is offering the compliance thing. And that is a very important thing when it comes to business for any organization. Any organization which is dealing across the borders, they have to take care of the, they have to be compliant. Okay, so if you are, if you are selling, like if you're selling any products to Pakistan, which in any area where it is banned, or to Iran where it is, where any area is banned, so that list of the parties or that list of the countries needs to be informed to the organization, so that they cannot allow the trade to be happen. If they allow the trade to happen, that they will go into the legal and the compliance thing. They are into the non-compliance, and then it will be charged, or they have to suffer the penalties from the government. So in order to mitigate that risk, in order to mitigate the risk of doing the penalties or in going into the complications of legal complication of any country, uh, every organization wants to have this compliance check, where they can be, where the system can assure that yeah, the trade that is happening across the border is safe, and that is not any of the that are all the legal parties you are dealing with, or the legal countries you are dealing with. So again, here when we say that legal parties, it will come into the sanction party list screening. So here the list of the denied party peoples who are banned by the countries. So every country has a list where they have the denied party, where they have banned or boycott the people persons who don't want, for whom the country don't want to engage with any trade. So those are the list that is has to be updated in the GTS system, so that it can check and do the compliance check uh, if the customer, if the vendor, or if the business partner is among the list of the denied party, it will block the orders. So similarly for embargo is at a country level, so that I will be again dealing the same, covering sanction party list. When we cover this, I will be covering how the system checks and how the system recognizes any entity or any business partner, if it is legal or it is compliant or not. So how that setting is done, like if there is a name, so it how at what percentage of the name it matches, it has to be configured in the system. We can configure that, or we can set up like 75% of the name if it is matching with the customer name and the location as well, address location as well, then you can the system will give a pop-up or it will block the document. And we can set that percentage. How the setting is done, that I will be covering. That is an important thing that that is not covered anywhere and just skipped. So I just want to focus on that thing. That is area where the issues also mainly organizations are having right now. So same for the embargo as well, and legal control as well. So these three are the from the compliance perspective. So legal control, like if it is we are doing export or import, we have to attain a certain license before sending any goods. So why I'm saying that, because many of the organizations are dealing with military products or the products which can be used uh, or which can be used against the economy of any country, which can be harmful. And in order to mitigate that risk, every country has imposed a license that has to be taken. And when unless and until there is no such license is there, you cannot export or import your goods. So that how the license is being determined, that is also I'm covering in this license determinations, and the validity period of the license as well. So how to check it is expired or not, or how to go and ask for extension of the validity period, whom to ask. So who are the peoples dealing with these all. So that I will be covering in this session. Okay, so
Okay.
coming on
Yeah.
to the
So,
next.
but here,
Coming on,
I mean, sorry to interrupt. Okay. So basically, there are three questions which I'm having here. Okay. So when we are saying the SPL or else the DPL, right? So these checks are happening at the delivery level, correct? If I'm not wrong. See, you can just go ahead and you can say, for example, for the DPL check and all, we can make sure that if the customer is in the DPL list, then even the order can be created. But if the customer is in the DPL, then the delivery should be put on hold, or else the shipment should not be made for that particular customer. So so when we are talking like this one, are we saying that the even the delivery documents are also coming and making a contact with the GTS server here, or else it's only the orders which will be only coming in contact with the GTS system?
see, you are half correct. So in like I said here, business process configuration, releasing of the block documents and partners. So I mentioned block documents and partners. So with block documents, it is covering the transactions, sales transactions. So sales order, when it is created, it is being uh, screened against GTS, and in the GTS whether it is legal or not. So every transaction we are running in the ECC, whether it is sales order, delivery, billing, it all go through the screening. And
Hmm.
similarly the business partner as well. So if even if you don't create any sales order, you just have created the customer master in your ECC. Okay, now you are in a technical go live phase. So what we happens in a technical go live, we all do the configuration setups, we all do the custom master data setups. No such business go live yet happened, means the transaction is not being done by business right now.
Yeah.
So even in that stage, the partners are also screened. So uh, the main concept here is the business partner, which is being screened. So because see, whatever the sales order is created, that is again having a customer, and we want
Hmm.
every organization wants not to deal with those customers which are banned by the countries, right? So we have to block that sales order. We have to do the compliance screening for that business partner. If the business partner is created, at that stage also the screening is happening. If there is a change in the address through the change pointer, it will again go into the screening. Manual screening is also happening, periodic screening is also happening, synchronous and asynchronous screening that I will be covering. So these are all I will be covering in detail. So yes, for half, like you said, if delivery, yeah, delivery is not the only document. The sales order, delivery, billing, all these are screened. And whenever there it founds that yeah, these are non-compliant, the customer is non-compliant, or the location or the origin destination is not compliant with the system or the uh, denied party list that has been provided by the data provider across the globe, so it will block the documents. Then the compliance team members have to check whether this block document is really a denied party list or really a banned one, a banned partner. If it is, then it will remain blocked. Otherwise, it will do the release.
Okay. So okay.
Okay, so
So what you're
at
saying is that
all levels you
it is
can
not
say.
only the sale order. So sorry, cutting you across. So what you're saying is that it's not only the sale order, even the delivery and billing document will also go into the compliance check. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, yes. So suppose like just to give you a daily life example, if you have if suppose Malia, Vijay Malia, right? So he is banned by India. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, suppose Vijay Malia had created a sales order, but it 2 years back, but it has not created a delivery yet. Now it is banned. So we should not deliver, right? At
Yeah.
that time, 2 years back, he was not banned. He has created a sales order and asked for some goods, but now he is banned by the government. So at the time of delivery, if a customer was at a time of sales order, if the customer was not banned, then it's okay. It has cleared the screening. But at the time of delivery, if it is banned, then again we are dealing with uh, we are going into the legal things if we are delivering the goods to that person, right?
Mhm.
So all these
Oh,
stages needs to be screened again.
okay. Yeah. So one more question on this one, right? So SPL and DPL list we are maintaining, right? So now in the GTS, this SPL and DPL list needs to be given by the government department. So again, it is something like the like how we maintain a condition record, like that one we will maintain, like against which country, what are all
Yeah,
the addresses and
yeah,
the
it's a
custom.
master data, not a condition
Okay.
record. It is a master data thing. There is an
Yeah.
option where we have to upload. Okay,
Oh.
that I will show you in that screen that you can better understand.
Okay.
There, I don't know if you remember, if you have heard of MK Denial. So MK Denial is one of the biggest data provider. So their job is to
Uh-huh.
collect and each data from every country at
Okay.
global level, and then prepare a list, and that list has to be uploaded in GTS. So that list they are sending it over mail, and how it is getting uploaded directly, that I will show you. So they send a XML file. Basically the
Okay.
GTS system is uploading that XML file. So once the upload is happening, so it has those all list of the partners that are banned by the governments.
Sure, got it. So yeah, one more just associated questions with this one actually. So when we are saying like this one, right? So similarly, even for the DPL also will be DPL also will be having the same kind of master record, right? See, in the earlier case, I took a condition
So
record just for
BPL,
the example actually.
it's exactly same. You can say that denied party or sanctioned party list are the list which has been given by the data provider, which are banned people. Or
Okay,
now the sanctioned party list screening, when it comes to SPL list screening, that is a functionality given in SAP which screens all those business partners which has been created in SAP against those list that has been provided. If it matches, then it blocks.
okay,
So
got
I
it.
will cover you. I will go through it one by one. I'm just providing you the overview of the things that I will be covering. So that is all my in my agenda, and I will be covering each and every topic. And I will my focus will be more on the business perspective. If you understand the business perspective, you will remember the things forever, and then you can apply your knowledge as well to automate the things. So right now, every organization is automating, focus on automating the things. So once you
Correct.
understand that this perspective, you will be able to understand the configuration part as well. You don't have to remember that, and then you can just relate each one easily.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Got it. Why?
one
Because
by
now,
one. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I got. Now you are referring, right? Why? Because people also don't want it through even though XML or else Excel file, right? They just want it to be updated through the API so that no manual intervention should be there, and it all should be automated so that there should not be any a particular person, because for these kind of things the companies are paying for as some hefty amount towards the service fees and all to those companies who are maintaining this data, right?
Yes, right. One more thing.
Okay, yeah, that's what I had
Okay,
actually. Yeah, please.
so
Yeah, yeah, please proceed. Yeah.
you know, okay, so coming on to the next one. So this is this one will be covering the custom management things. So these are all the topics that I have listed on here. I will be covering that one by one. So we have an operative cockpit where we will be for each export or import scenario, there is a custom declaration document that is created in GTS, and that custom document or the custom declaration document has to be sent to the custom authorities. So unless and until the custom authorities approve those documents, you cannot further process or further carry out your activities. So like if you are exporting anything from US to India, you have to go through the custom authorities. You have to verify that yeah, these are the things that I am exporting. If it They will check if it is legal or not, or if it is under the limit or not. Like if there is certain limits that has been defined by custom authorities, which we cannot exceed in one transaction. So all these they will check the that rules from their side, and if they found that yeah it is okay, then it will provide you a legal number, a legal custom registration number. And when you have that uh, legal custom registration number in SAP, those after that you can create an invoice or a billing document or further subsequent documents as well. So this is an important thing for e-filing, how we are going to e-file. So again, we as a organization or any organization is not dealing directly with the custom authorities. There is a broker in middle bit of the organization and custom authorities. So we are whatever the documents that is created in GTS, how it is getting interfaced to that broker, and then broker is taking the approval from custom. All those K2, K8 form are the legal forms for custom. If you have ever done anything export import, you will be knowing these two things. These are, you can search on Google as well. K2 form, K8 form. These are the forms that has to be filled in the government custom authorities, custom forms. And once they approve it, they send it back to SAP. How this interface is happening, how e-filing is happening, how the custom uh, uh, declaration document is being created. All I am going to cover uh, in this custom management session. So there is a fallback procedure as well. Suppose there, like I said, there is an interface between SAP to broker and then broker to customer, but that interface is not happening. So how in that case should my organization has to wait to be recovered with the interface issue, or if there is any interface problem, then what are the other options that we can go for? So that is comes under fallback procedure. So how we can manually do the custom authorities things, and how we can carry on our business without impacting any due to the interface issue. So that I will be covering in the fallback procedure. So these again, like I said here, electronic communication, it is again the idocs. When we come into the interface, I will be providing you the details of the idocs, the setup message, how to check the custom declaration, whether it is an import declaration document, whether it is document, export declaration document, how to create, like I here mentioned here, creation of manual and automatic, if how to manually create as well. So sometimes the custom declaration is most of the times it is automatically get created in GTS, but there are sometimes we have to go and there is a need of manual creation. So we should be knowing that how we can create a manual export declaration if it is not automatically created. So all these I will be covering in this custom management system. Okay.
Sure.
So, so coming on to the next one, that is for risk management. So my agenda will be in the risk management to cover the preference determination. So every country has a certain agreement with them. So in order to promote the trade, so
Uh, Hello, am I audible? Hello. Hey, hey, am I audible? Am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
I will be covering the preference determination as well. So preference determination is again a very important concept where if any product is being sold from one country to another country, so well whether that product will be coming under this agreement or not, that has to be determined based on the preference determination. So suppose if you are having a car manufacturing company, but you have taken the tires, you have taken the other parts from other countries, from Germany, from China, and then assembling it in Canada and selling it in US. So US is having an agreement with Canada that it will not impose any duty, but Canada has not prepared all those or manufactured the car with himself, but it has taken help of other countries, so, for the raw data. So whether that has to be the trade agreement has to be implied or not, that the preference determination will tell all about. So I will go into each and every settings as well and how to see whether my product is preferential or not. That I will be covering in this. And similarly, based on the rules of origin, like whether exactly the product is coming from, that has to be depend on the vendor declaration. So again, this is an important concept which which I generally think that most of the uh, training centers or the training institutes miss this, uh, right? So long term vendor declaration, so that is one important concept that I am covering here. And restitution management is very rarely used, but if you want me to cover in detail, I can do that. If you want to cover me, or if you want to add anything like letter of credit, I can add it into this. These are my agenda for the GTS training. So yeah. if you have any more query, then we can discuss.
Yeah. So,
Over to
so,
you.
so one question here. I was referring to you, right? At the material master level, we are having something called as a ECCN number and HTS number, right? So, which we already discussed. And apart from that, we are having something called as the country of origin also, right? At the master data level. When I say master data, material master data, we are having
Rules of
that
origin.
value also, right?
Yes, yes. The rules of origin I have mentioned here. Yes, so that is important. Where how which exactly what is the origin of any components?
Correct.
Like I mentioned car. So what is the origin of the tire? Okay, so tire is where
Uh,
it is coming from. If it is coming from Brazil, then how much imposed the duty is to be levied by the company. That it has to be decided by the rules of for the country of origin. That is to be set up. So that I will be covering.
Okay, so this is fair enough. But now what is happening out is that, is there any change in this one, right? Whatever we are talking about, the GTS as a different server, and then, what we are talking about the 1909 actually. Is there any change of process? Some processes might have been this one, or else it's only just one thing that it has, since it has come in the one box, no RFC connection is required, and call should be made asynchronous. That is the only difference. Or we are having config wise as well as technically also some differences between 1909 and GTS as a separate box. Why? Because this question is that maybe we are going with either, see, currently we are with 1809, and then we are talking of upgrading it to 1909, or else in 1809 only, we are talking basically of moving all these things from other servers or other services to GTS actually. So which is easier, I mean, in terms of all these things. Obviously,
But if you
1809,
talk
because
about it, yeah,
there is no
every
RFC connection.
yeah, every upgrade is definitely a improvement version, right? So
Yeah.
the connections, when it comes to connections, not only connections, but it will uh, have a better speed, performance. It will not it will do the screening faster, like it is happening right now. That all, the from system perspective, it will going to be improved, not the technical or the functional thing. So functional, the concept, so what is the concept of compliance, or what is the concept of custom? So if you are running any version, if you are upgrading any version of you, if you are even going into S4 HANA as well, the things will
Ah,
not change for any company. Export and import scenario will not change. A country will do carry on its business, export the goods, import goods. Custom authority has to give the approval, custom registration
mm,
number. All these important concept has to be there on. But yeah, in S4, like it will come into one box in ECC. That is the only thing that is happening. Like in SD also, in other modules also for S4, they are moving out of customers and vendors. They are coming up with business partners. So in business partner, you can see the GTS is already advanced version. If it is out of the
right.
SEC, it is advanced. So it is already using the business partner right now. Now S4 is coming up with business partner for other modules, which is already being used by GTS. So upgrade will come on, and will definitely, every technology will try to upgrade itself with time. But the main concept, the main areas, the main functionality from functional or from technical view, that will remain forever.
Okay, great. And two more questions actually on this one. Okay, so when we're, how is the market for GTS? So is it going to boom, or like how exactly? I mean, see, because people who have done ESD are the people, usually they are going with this GTS, right? Actually,
Pardon me, can you come again?
how is the market for GTS actually? Because people who have done ESD are the ones who will be going with the GTS one, right? I mean, so that's what I was asking.
Not so, but yeah, if you are having SD experience, so you can understand at least sales, or what is sales order and all that. But these are
Yeah.
the different concept, right? So these are a separate concept. So if you are having experience in GTS, that does not mean that you need to have expertise on SD module as well. But yeah, if you are already aware of SD, then it's good for you to add on something else. Right now, every organization is looking for techno functionals or cross functionals guys, like one module plus one module, right? So
Yeah.
from SD, if you are also having GTS, so you can just provide them. And if see, earlier the market for GTS was not you can say before way back 25 years. So 25 years before now, the market for export import was not much for any countries. They were dealing very with only the neighboring countries. Now the border or the cross border has been expanded. So for each and every now, India can run its business overseas, so that is not a big challenge for any country right now. So definitely the export, everyone is now doing the export and import and focusing, enhancing that. Every company, Walmart is coming to India, Amazon is coming to India and growing its business. So all these things are happening, started happening at a faster pace. So definitely there is a boom for GTS model in the future.
Okay. And one more thing, actually, associated one. So this GTS will also work for, for the customers who are within the countries also, right? Say, for example, for US, or it's only the across the cross border only this GTS would be applied, and for people who are there within US, companies from the US and
For a screening
customers are
purpose,
in
yeah,
US.
for a screening purpose, that is required. That is required for domestic export import scenarios as well. But from
Sorry,
custom
again,
perspective,
I didn't
as
get you.
the for for compliance purpose, it is for domestic trade as well. Okay,
Okay.
so
Hmm.
whether a company is doing any business with someone who is banned in the country itself, that is one thing, that is required. But for custom, when we talk about custom management, like whether we take approval of the custom authorities, that is only happening for trades across the borders. So when the trades are happening across the countries, then only the custom duty will apply. If you are selling any products from Pune or from Maharashtra to Madhya Pradesh, so there will be no custom charge, right? There will be GST
Yeah.
charge and all that, but no custom
Yeah.
charge. So there will be no
So
GTS in that. Only
yeah,
across
so
the
in that case,
countries, then
so in that case, yeah, so in that case, GTS will not be applied for the customers, right?
yes, yes. In that case, it will be not applied, not needed. For custom part is not needed. The compliance part can
Oh,
be used.
yeah, correct. Only the compliance part is needed, but not the GTS, this customs and all those things is needed. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes,
Okay, great. Yeah, see, because see, for example, client, I mean, companies in the US and they are selling the goods in US. So that means that it's a domestic one. So there the compliance of SPL, DPL is required, but not the customs and all, correct? So, and that's what the understanding of this GTS thing, right? I mean, if I'm not wrong.
yes, yes. So in within the same state or within the same country, if it is being, if the things are being sold or uh, then to any customers, then it is not needed any custom check. But across the borders, right now, each and every product is built with involvement of other countries. There is no such product which is independently being created by the same country, right? One country is
Yeah,
not creating anything, manufacturing anything. It will taking the raw materials from some raw materials from other countries, some raw materials from other, and based on that, it
correct.
is creating or manufacturing its own product. So most of the trades that is happening right now, it is based on the other or across borders. That is why GTS is very much seen in organization right now.
Sure.
Okay, so I have worked with three of my clients in the US, or one was Asia specific region, Asia Pacific region. So both, like I said, I have experience of around 7 years now, you can say. So I have done the implementation rollout as well. So there I have most of the same things that are happening is global trade. So that's why GTS was there. So I have seen most of the organizations or the IT clients that is having, they are using the GTS and they are looking for the GTS consultant. The thing is that GTS consultant demand is very good right now, because you don't see much of those people who are aware of this GTS thing. So there is definitely one step ahead to the other SAP modules.
Okay, sure.
Okay, okay. So I hope you like the session. I try to cover all the things that I have in my plan for all the training or on these training sessions that I will be covering, and I will try to cover each and every thing from business perspective as well as from system perspective. And my focus will be that you should be able to understand at least uh, all the things from the core business process to the system understanding. So
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
that's it from my
It was
side.
good actually.
So yeah, over to you, Nikita.
Don't know whether
Nikita,
she is online. Yeah,
she's there, but I don't know. She's on mute.
yeah, maybe.
Okay, so if you don't have any question now, so I will connect with her separately. So we can, yeah, we can.
Manita, two questions actually, final two questions. So, how much time is required to complete these sessions actually?
So whatever the test list, whatever the topic I have listed here, it will around 35 to 40 hours. I have a plan.
Okay,
Okay, and like I'm covering the business processes as well. Like I'm my focus will to explain you from the daily examples, from the day life examples. You might you might see the approach like I'm having in this call. So I try to explain or sort out your queries on the by giving an example only. So I will try to focus on that. So that's why there is a bit 4 to 5 hours more in my session. So 35 to 40 hours I have a estimate plan. I will be covering within that
sure.
only.
Yeah, and one more associated last question for this one
And
is that
yeah, what are the timings you want carry on that I want to know because yeah,
basically I
you
am a
want the
early
daily.
bird. Yeah, I'm a early bird and daily actually because that is when the continuity would be there, right? Otherwise, we'll not have any continuity actually.
So you want on a daily basis or a weekly basis. If you go,
Daily,
then you
daily,
can
daily.
you uh, okay. Daily basis is not a problem for me, but my suggestion would be to go with a weekly basis so that you can explore the things, you can hands on the system, and you can come up with any questions you have. But daily basis, then if you able to whatever suggestion I am uh, explaining you daily, if it is possible for you to cover that or recap all those at home,
Yes, sir.
if you are not
Yes, sir.
engaged with any organization or business, then it will be
No, no, no,
easier
no.
for
I
me.
am engaged. I'm engaged with. I'm currently working with one of the company. So I'm having. Yeah, just to tell you, like 13 years in ASD actually. I'm a ST consultant for the past 13 years. So
13 years in which
apart
field?
from that, sorry,
SD.
ESD, yes, sales and distribution. And apart from
Okay,
that, I
okay,
did
okay.
CCCI, hybrid consultant also. And later, this is what and I'm trying to explore on CRM stuff also basically.
Oh, that nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. So okay. So daily basis. So yeah, you can just I will convey that to Nikita as well. So we can plan it, right?
Sure. And morning would be good for you, right?
Yes, morning will be good for me, and yes, morning will be good for me. I have a second shift right now.
And one more associated questions with this one now. So whatever we discussed is through like either this data maintenance and all is through XML file or else Excel file, right? So if required, we can go with the OData service also for the API, right? So that as and when these external vendors do send a SPL and DPL list, that we can directly go and update at the master data level. That also can be done, right? I guess it's a technical work
Yeah,
which I have to sit
I
with the
will.
ABAP.
Yeah. Yes, yes. So I will not going to cover that, but yeah, OData when we come to data lake or BSOM, वगैरह, so you can handle this. We can do the automation. So right now things
Okay.
are getting moved on that OData, right? So BSOM and data
Yeah,
lake is coming into things, right? So yeah, we can
correct.
do
For
that.
yeah, for yes, for all the things are through OData only, right? I mean, API only SAP is talking about, right? And now they are also
Hmm.
thinking of removing this, gateway they are giving, right? So for all these kind of things, instead of API. So that's what happening actually. Ad hoc is also there in S4, but they are talking of gateways, and then by which we can push the services for OData actually, and maintain the datas or update the datas, or whatnot, right? Delete, create, or modify all those things actually.
Yeah, there is a ALF handling tool in S4 which is monitoring the items and all that.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't think if you, yeah, I think that you might be aware of the ALF something, right?
Sure,
Application
no
interface
problem.
framework.
Anyway, that is with technical guy, right? I mean, he can developer can help me out actually, correct?
Yes, yes, yeah, definitely. Okay, so
Sure, Puneet.
I will be
It was
covering
good.
from the number range part. I will be covering in the ABAP side as well. I am a good ABAPer as well, so I will try to deal that, but not much focusing on the technical. I will focus on the business and the function first. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Sure, we can do that one.
Okay, and my suggestion would be if you want, it would be better that if we can go ahead with weekend sessions. But if you manage, then it's no problem for me.
No, no, no.
Just want
Weekend
you
is not
to
good
you
for
can
me.
spend
Why?
some time.
Because, yeah, yeah. Why? Because I'll tell you, like, I always prefer going uh, daily. Why? Because, that continuity would be there, right? Otherwise, weekend means,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
we'll
Okay.
see like that
Understand it.
kind of mentality will come. So it's always better to go with a
Yeah.
daily.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Monit. Okay.
Your
Yeah.
okay. Guru, your name is Guru,
Hope-
right?
yeah, my name is Guru.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Monit. Hope to see you soon. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.